What's up, y'all? It's your girl Jaleesa back again with another video. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yay! Hello to all of the new people. Hello to all of the people that have been here. Shout out to you for rocking with me. Before we get this video started, I have to let you guys know I appreciate the love, the support, the views, the shares. I appreciate everything that you guys bring to this channel. I just want to remind you to make sure that you like the video when you watch it and make sure that you're subscribed. Show me some love. I'm on the road to 1,000. I'm at 8 something. I can get there. I have faith in myself. I know I can get there before the end of the year. So guys, make sure that you're subscribing. Share my channel with a friend that is also on their self-discovery journey and is interested in more information on the self-discovery journey and all of the other weird things that come to my mind. Thank you. This is your first time seeing me. My name is Jaleesa. I'm on my self-discovery journey and I am sharing information and things that I have figured out about my self-discovery journey with you guys on my channel because it is my special interest as a neurodivergent Black woman. Right now, I'm diving into it and I want to share with you guys everything that I've learned and hopefully it'll be able to help you on your journey of self-discovery. So y'all, listen. Today's topic is pretty interesting because I kind of feel like as a neurodivergent person, I've always had a strong sense of values, but as we're on the self-discovery journey, I think it's really important to realize that values is like the foundation of the self-discovery journey. If you want to figure out who you are, if you want to figure out what you're about, if you want to figure out like where you're going in this life, it's really important to figure out and understand your values. So what are values? Values are guiding principles that reflect what is most important in our lives. That's the definition that they gave me. But in layman's terms, it's pretty much like what makes you, like your factory settings, I guess you can say, like your coding, if you are into that type of stuff. It is what makes you you. It will guide your actions, your decisions, relationships, your career, hobbies, even what drives you towards the things that you want, the things that you do, the people that you are attracted to. I think having values is really important because I'm reminded of that quote. I'm not sure who said it. I want to say that Malcolm X said it, like if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Let me look that up. Hold on. Y'all, I'm sitting here talking about some Malcolm X, baby. That was Alexander Hamilton. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a philosopher. I'm just a girl that likes to talk. It was Alexander Hamilton. His name was Alexander. Okay, we're not going to get into that. Is this a safe space? I never made it to the end of Hamilton. It didn't keep my attention. I'll try again one day. I definitely do want to watch it. It was interesting. And my baby, what's his name? Anthony, what's his name? He was in the Heights too. He's so cute. A little Puerto Rican stuff. What's his name? Anthony Ramos. It just wasn't connecting with me all the way. I have to make it to the end. Like, please don't take my nerd card. Please, please. I'm gonna finish watching it, but damn, what was we talking about? Values. You stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. I feel like that's a beautiful quote to grasp the understanding of what values mean or why it's so important to have values. As I grew up, although I did not understand them to be values or did not call them values, I always had things that I stood on. You feel me? There's just certain things that I won't do and certain things that I will always do because of who I know myself to be, because who I was taught to be. I went to a really, really good charter school when I was younger, and they used to drive character development into us at a young age. And I think that being my foundation allowed me to have a strong sense of value all through my life. It would be some instances where things would be happening and I felt like I had to stand on how I wanted to react. Even if everyone else around me was reacting another type of way, there's always been something in me. And if you know, neurodivergent people, like, we have a strong sense of value from young. I don't know, like we come here with it. It's like, it's in the factory settings, bro. I'm telling you, always just had these things that I stood on and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Me and peer pressure never really went hand in hand for real. Like to an extent, yeah, but like never to the point where I'm doing things that I would regret because everybody else was doing it. You feel me? If I ever did anything, it's because I wanted to do it. Having a strong sense of value allows you, if you're not that type of person that you kind of end up like going with the wind, whenever anybody else is doing something, you do it, or like you don't know how to react in situations, you don't know what to like, you don't know what you're passionate about. It's very important to really understand what your values are. Where do your values lie? It was crazy because I was doing research on values and like how they correlate with the self-discovery journey, and also realizing, because a big part of my personality is being neurodivergent. Do y'all know that a lot of neurodivergent people, we tend to have some of the same values? I'm gonna list them. If you're neurodivergent, let me know if you identify with some of these values. I'm just trying to see something real quick. We value authenticity stemming from a strong sense of self-acceptance. Hello! Value genuine connections because we often felt misunderstood in childhood, so we tend to avoid superficial connections. Bitch. Empathy. Neurodivergent people have strong sense of empathy. We value inclusion because of often being the outsider in situations. It is also a well-known fact that a lot of neurodivergent people end up being activists. Love doing deep dives and stuff. People have strong values in the sense of self-care. We often are those type of people that like to respect our limits so that way we're not getting overstimulated. I don't know about y'all, but I turn into a little gremlin when I'm overstimulated. I don't like it. I don't like it. You don't like it. You're not gonna like me. I'm not gonna like you. So I am very, very big on self-care. It's one of my main values about how I take care of my body, my mind, my environment, everything, because I know that when I'm being taken care of, I can show up as the best version of myself. We also often have a strong value of knowledge. Neurodivergent people chase knowledge. You will find a lot of neurodivergent people going back to school, being very heavily interested in certain topics, like my special interest right now as self-discovery, like always being driven by curiosity. We value that in life. We value always learning something new, and that drives a lot of our action. Your values will act as sort of like a magnet to other people. So if you don't have values, it's easy to fall into the wrong crowd or wrong relationships or even fall into the wrong job. It's hard to figure out what you want to do. And it's really easy to just look at the people around you and do what they're doing. But is that really feeding your soul? Is that really filling you up? Is that really igniting your passion just by being with anybody or just doing anything? And usually the answer is no. Like if you can answer that transparently, the answer is no. Hanging out with the wrong people is draining. Identifying your values on your self-discovery journey really helps for you to create a space for your most authentic self. If you want to show up as your most authentic self, you have to figure out what your foundation is, what's important to you, what makes you go, essentially, what makes you move, what makes you light up, what makes you inspired. As we spoke about in the last video, the self-discovery journey is more than just like, okay, you're spending time with yourself, but you're figuring out where you want to go. And I think if you want to figure out where you want to go when you're spending time with yourself, understanding your values really helps. As a person who values creativity, oftentimes when I'm by myself, I go to creative spaces, whether that be like an open mic night, poetry night, or eat and sip. Because I value creativity, I know where I want to go. My values support my authentic self. So you're probably like, Jaleesa, how do I identify my values? What if I don't know what my values are? What if I've never gotten taught what values mean to me? What if I kind of know what they mean, but not really sure, and I don't know if I've been living within my values? Listen, I got you. Take my hand. This is how you identify some values in your life, baby. So in my previous video, hopefully you watched it. If you didn't, I'm going to put a little something up here. In that first video, I said as a tip to figure out who you are, spend time with yourself. Outside of spending time with yourself, it's important that you're journaling and that you're documenting your journey. In that, you will discover a pattern. So the first tip to identifying your values is to figure out your patterns. Where do you often go? What do you often do? What are you drawn to? If you're a heavy book reader, you always find yourself in a Barnes and Nobles or an antique bookstore. Maybe you value literacy. Start there. Figure out your patterns. Figure out where you go. And I want you to write it down. Of course, I'm gonna tell you to write it down. Come on, don't act like you're new here. You should have a journal by now. Jot down your patterns. What you listen to in your spare time. Are you listening to music? Are you listening to podcasts? What are the podcasts about? What type of music do you listen to? What are you watching? Are you watching a show? What type of shows are you drawn to? What is the theme in the shows? Look at a pattern. If you were to ask me the last 3 things that I watched, they all have a heavy theme around self-discovery because I value personal growth. I am drawn to stories and movies and TV shows that have a heavy theme around self-discovery and growth, especially when it comes to Black and brown women. One of the last series that I actually watched was How to Die. It's with Kelly from Insecure, Natasha Roswell. Oh my God, I feel like I am butchering this. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you are really interested in a show that kind of not only speaks to the self-discovery journey, but speaks to issues around self-worth, I would give it a try. It is one of those things that kind of starts off a little bit slower, but once you get into it, once you really get into the show, once the story starts to unfold, you start seeing the heavy theme around her just trying to find herself at a point in her life where she's just like, I don't know who I am. I don't know why I don't know who I am. I'm so afraid to be who I am. I think it was really good, so give it a try. Once you figure out your patterns, once you figure out the things that you are being drawn to and you write it down, like a list of I want to say 3 or 5 things. It doesn't have to be hefty. And I want you to figure out how those things make you feel. Because you can also run into figuring out your pattern and realizing that your pattern is not in alignment with your values. You can say to yourself, well, in my free time, I often go to the gym, but I don't really like it. I would rather do something else. Right there, when you get to that point where you start, looking at your values, you start to try to audit how they make you feel. If going to a creative space does not make you feel comfortable, then maybe it's time for you to reevaluate your values. The places that you're drawn to, the things that you're drawn to, the things that you do in your alone time should essentially light you up, should make you feel some type of emotional reaction, whether that be peace, joy, acceptance, purpose, fulfillment. It should spark up some type of feeling. So if you don't feel anything towards the things that you're doing, then it's time for a little reevaluation. Okay. Another tip to identify your values, think about people that you admire, people that inspire you. For me, lately, it has been Tyler, the Creator. He just dropped an album called Chromacopia. It's dope. Go listen to it. I am so inspired by Tyler, the Creator. I admire him so much. And that is because one of my values is authenticity. Like I said, a lot of neurospicy people love authenticity. We love being able to be ourselves and not care about who cares about who and how we are. Just show up as us, like unapologetically. And y'all, if you know anything about Tyler, the Creator, that's one thing he's gonna do is show up as himself. He inspires me so much. Figure out some people. It doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be a family member. It could be a friend. It could be a coworker. Anyone that you interact with them and they ignite some type of feeling within you. They ignite that admiration. They ignite that jealousy. Because I got a video about jealousy too. I do a little bit of everything. You feel me? Sometimes jealousy can just be the other side of a deep admiration. So I would say even write about the people that you're jealous of. That takes a lot of self-awareness. Remember we were talking about that? Once you identify these people, write down the traits that you admire about them. You might find a common theme that can trickle down into 1 or 2 values. Those may or may not be values that you can implement in yourself or values that you can use as your own guiding principles. Last but not least, I was introduced to something called the why exercise. It's exactly what you think. Think about a kid. When you tell a kid something, you're like, yeah, little kid, the sky is blue. And they're just like, why? We have to use money to buy things in this world. Why? I want you to do the why exercise when it comes to your values. For each one of your values, I want you to write it down and then ask yourself why it is your values. I value having boundaries. Why? Because I like my personal space. Why? Because when I don't have a lot of personal space, I tend to get overstimulated. Why? Because I'm neurospicy. Once you do that, you'll find the source of your value. I know that I will always be neurodivergent. Boundaries will always be a value of mine because it supports my most authentic self. So you kind of got to go deep with that one, I think why is one of the deepest questions that we can ask ourselves because there's a lot of people that don't know why. They don't know why they do the things that they do. They don't know why they react to things the way that they react because they're not going deep enough within themselves. So if you're not afraid to go deep, do the why exercise with each one of your values and keep asking why until you get to that source. And if at the source of it, you find yourself, you got a good value, keep that. I think it's super important to also keep in mind, there's some values that will change over time. There's some values that won't because they will always support who you are. But as someone who values personal growth, I know that there's going to be an aspect of myself that changes. I'm making this video at 29, maybe at 39, I won't have the same values. As we're growing, as we're changing, your values should be changing with you. But you should have at least 2 or 3 core values that, ain't going nowhere because it represents who you are. All right, so y'all, once you have identified your values using any of the 3 tips that I've outlined in this video, I want you to pay attention to how in alignment you feel about your values in your current life. I'm gonna tell y'all all my values and stuff. I value freedom, okay? I'm a free spirit, baby. I just gotta be free and I just gotta be me, which is why I'm really pushing to be an entrepreneur in my life. If you're the type of person that values structure, then a 9-to-5 will be amazing for you. But you have to figure out what that value is, because you'll get on social media and everybody's like,
be an entrepreneur, you can do it. You shouldn't be working a 9-to-5.
And maybe you want to work a 9-to-5, and that's okay. I mean, not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur. Trust me, I've had my doubts. I still have my doubts. I told you I'll be dealing with that imposter syndrome every other day of the week except for Sunday, because praise God. Know that you value freedom, but you're working a 9-to-5, and you know that that doesn't make you feel good, that it makes you feel uncomfortable, that doesn't make you like burn up with passion. Maybe start to implement a plan to see how you can segue yourself out of the 9-to-5 and maybe into something that is in alignment with your values a little bit more. Or maybe see how you can find freedom in other aspects of your life. Maybe just taking control of your weekends, going on weekend travel, like going out of the country on the weekends. We got free will at the end of the day. That's one of my favorite things to remember. I can do whatever I want. We can do whatever we want. There's always going to be consequences to you doing whatever you want. But I value knowing that I got free will. I can do whatever I want. I hate to be the pessimistic Capricorn in the room, but we gonna die one day. You gonna be dead. I think a lot of people don't understand that we ain't got as much time as we think that we do. So it's important for you to do it right now. No day but today. If you want to start changing your life, if you want to start living a more authentic life, if you want to start living a life that reflects who you truly are, then don't be afraid to ask God to help you. Don't be afraid to humble yourself and go before the Creator and just be like, I need some help. I want to live the life that you want to live. Put me on the path that you want me to be on. That's one of the things that I often pray to God about. Oh, when 11 o'clock. When 11 on the clock. When 11 on the clock. But I want you guys to also understand that small changes go a long way. You're not going to create a brand new life overnight. You're not going to start implementing values overnight. It's something that goes a little bit along the way. And as you keep making these small changes, the small changes turn into big decisions, turn into big ideas. So don't be afraid to make a small change. Y'all, now it's time for so long. Fuck y'all know about Blue's Clues. Anyway, y'all, thank you for hanging in there with me. So I love that you guys watch the videos, but make sure that you drop a like for me. Subscribe to the channel as we dive more into this self-discovery journey, as we create a foundation of self-discovery so that we can find ourselves and be the most authentic versions of ourselves and just create that sense of contentment in this very short life that we have to live. I mean, somebody gotta say it. Let me know what you want to see next in this self-discovery journey series. I have a few ideas in my little content journal, but I want to see if we're in alignment to see what you guys want to speak about next. So drop those ideas in the comments section. I always love speaking with you guys. I love you. Thank you for hanging in there with me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.